orúkọ mi ni Alájà Bùrọ̀sídì Adébáyọ̀, the chief imam of Atiba. A wá sí ibi ní iléeṣẹ́ Jdpm fún àkójọ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ child abuse, ìlú ọmọ nílòkulò àti bí àtàwọn ètò tí a lè máa ṣe lórí àwọn ọmọ fún ìlọsíwájú ìgbésí ayé wa. Àwọn tí wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ ń bẹ̀, Mr. Afẹ́ láti Ìbàdàn, ó sọ̀rọ̀ tó pọ̀ tó dẹ̀ mú ìwúni lórí wa. Bákan náà ìyá wa láti social welfare ní àkúlẹ̀ mọ́ tí wọ́n sì kejì, àwọn náà sọ̀rọ̀ lórí àwọn ilé tó pọ̀ tá a dẹ̀ rí ẹ̀kọ́ kọ́ tí àwa audience gan tí wọ́n dẹ̀ respond pé ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n sọ yìí o, àwọn tó lè fún wa ní èso rẹ̀ lórí ẹ̀ tí ká kú mú ìmọ̀ràn wa lórí ẹ̀. Àwa gan la wá sọ fún ẹ pé ìjókòó yìí o ká má jẹ́ kó parẹ́ kó máa lọ, nítorí pé ibi tí ìlú dé yìí lásìkò yìí ó ti bàjẹ́, ṣùgbọ́n àwọn ọmọ tá à ń bí káráyè máa fi àwọn ẹ̀kọ́ tá à ń mú bí láti fi kọ́ wọn kí ìbàjẹ́ yẹn kó wọn máa lọ síwájú. Àdúpẹ́ ní ọwọ́ iléeṣẹ́ Jdpm. Bákan náà dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn guest speaker wa Mr. Afẹ́ láti Ìbàdàn àti ìyàwó láti social welfare àkúlẹ̀ mọ́, kí Ọlọ́run bá kó dàbọ̀ kó ràn wá lọ́wọ́ ìlú Ọ̀yọ́ kó wọ́n bàjẹ́ àdẹ̀kí wa bá aláàfin Ọlọ́run bá ní kún wọn. Bákan náà bá àwọn ọmọ ìlú alájùmọ̀ sí ìdájọ́ kéré rú ọlọ́mọ dààmú wọn àti ṣàánú wọn. Ìlú Ọ̀yọ́ mọ́jẹ́ ó bàjẹ́ o, àwa náà mọ́jẹ́ àbàjẹ́ ń bẹ̀ kó wá ṣàánú wa kárí bí ògbódé gbàdúrà wa.
Láti iléeṣẹ́ social welfare Ọ̀yọ́ jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára àwọn tí a wá fún ètò prógráàmù ètò ìdílé lórí àwọn ọmọ, ipa tó ń kó lórí àwọn ọmọ. Ọlọ́run sì ti ràn wá lọ́wọ́ láti ṣe oríṣiríṣi onírúurú ètò léèní láti jẹ́ kí ìgbáyégbádùn ọmọnìyàn ní àwùjọ wa ó di mímọ̀ fún gbogbo ènìyàn láti ṣe àtúnṣe lórí ẹ̀. So gẹ́gẹ́ bí ohun tí a ti kọ́ tí a ti mọ̀ lénìí nínú ètò yìí, òun náà ní wípé kí gbogbo wa lápapọ̀ ká jí gìrì sí ọ̀rọ̀ àwùjọ wa nípasẹ̀ bí a ṣe ń tọ́jú àwọn ọmọ, ká má bàa ṣì ọmọ lò nípa àwọn àṣìlò ọmọ, ká ní pàápàá jùlọ ètò ìdílé tí ò bá dúró tí wọ́n ṣe dáadáa, wọ́n ní rójú àti tọ́jú ọmọ ni. Bákan náà ọmọ tá a bá sì tọ́jú, àwọn yẹn ni à ń fi sí ọwọ́ ewu tó jẹ́ wípé wọ́n ń ṣì wọ́n lò nípa ìbálòpọ̀ tí ò dára àti àwọn ọmọ tó lọ ń di adigunjalè lọ́jọ́ ọ̀la. Pàápàá jùlọ àwọn mìíràn máa ń sá ní skul, wọn ní dé skul, wọ́n á sì ya ọmọ jàǹdùkú. So fún di eléyìí, Ọlọ́run ti ràn wá lọ́wọ́ lénìí nínú ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tí a ti lọ nínú rẹ̀ láti rí ibi tó ti yẹ kí ẹnìkọ̀ọ̀kan wá ṣe àtúnṣe. Mo sì gbàládùra yìí pé gbogbo wa lápapọ̀ á mú lọ sílé, á sì jẹ́ kí àwùjọ wa kó tẹ̀síwájú nípasẹ̀ àwọn nǹkan wọ̀nyí láti mójútó kí Ọlọ́run kó ràn wá lọ́wọ́.
So Mrs. Gio Akanyade, I belong to the JP group in Oyo Town, and our coming together today is to deliberate on issues that concerns the upbringing of children in the society, and we have looked at every possibilities and areas where this has to be readjusted. We discuss on areas like parents, the attitude of parents to training children, where some parents are abandoning their children, leaving them to nobody to care for them, where school is not given authority to discipline and to train children the way it should be, where churches and mosques and even the society don't have a right to correct any other person's child. If you see in those days when you saw a child do something wrong, you can correct, but now you cannot tap into correction of any child, even if you are older and have more experience than them. So these are the things, and we have seen that it has brought a lot of decadence to the society, and there's a lot of misbehaviors among our young ones, and we are now looking at the way forward. How do we bring correction to these things? How do we make our children to become responsible people tomorrow? How does the community and the society and the government stand up to readjust and to re-enact certain laws that will give authorities to people to be able to train their children in the right way, authority to schools to give training, and the church to mentor their children in the fear of the Lord, and the mosque too. So we have to do something about it, and so that is what we have been talking about, and we pray that God will direct us and help us as we make our communicate to the governments, through the local governments, to the state government, even to the federal government. And I pray that they will have an opportunity to look into this our deliberation, and then to be able to make an adjustment and help us to be able to move forward as a society and as a nation. Because when we look at our community compared with other nations, it is not really a thing of joy to many of us. So our children should be able to stand outside this Nigeria, to be able to imbibe right attitude, to be able to cultivate good behaviors, and to be able to stand anywhere in the world. So if we train them well, I'm sure they'll be able to stand the test of time, and God will help us.
My name is Afeolu. I am the head of unit for anti-human trafficking and child protection unit, NSCDC, Oyo State Command. Today, we are here for a program to talk about child sexual molestation and how does it happen, when does it happen, and who are the people that does that, and how does it affect the society. We have been able to look at it from the definition of it. And it's a secret crime between a minor and adult, most especially female. It is not only the female minor that is sexually molested. The male minors are also molested, but because the society, to an extent, have seen the female as a sex object, that is why it's so much rampant. And as the God will have it, the lockdown really brought out the issue of child sexual molestation. It wasn't that it's just beginning to start now. It's been happening ever since before lockdown. But what the lockdown did was that it was able to showcase it very well, and people got more aware and got interested. And as a matter of fact, it has significantly added to the value of it for them to be able to speak up. Initially it was happening, people were not conscious about it. People that were conscious were not speaking out. But during the COVID, it was happening, and people were actually speaking out, which I can say significantly, lockdown has really helped the issue of sexual molestation of a child to be able to be heard and seen and be addressed as the case may be. So apart from that, we also look at what are the way forward to all these problems. Having looked at all the problems, we know that the people where and how they can be abused in the home, in the schools, in the church, within the community, classrooms. We also look at it that, okay, who are the people that are prone to this? There is nobody. A stranger cannot come to abuse. It's the same people who abuses these children are the ones that are closer to either to them in school, at home, in the community. So there is nobody that can be trusted when it comes to child sexual molestation. Everybody around the child is a suspect, is a prospective pedophile. So having looked at all this, we also look at what are the way forward. How do we find remedy to this? Because of course, yes, when you look at all these things, you cannot take away the broken home, which sometimes lead to domestic violence. And they came up with a resolution that, okay, in those days, there used to be juvenile panel committee who sits over affairs of these juveniles in the court, most especially when minor comes into conflict with the law. So they recommended that, and we're also looking at how we can do advocacy to the significant stakeholders who can amplify the journey of other stakeholders who are providing services for child protection. We are looking at public enlightenment programs. We are looking at capacity building, even though for the customary courts, where the issue of domestic issues, sexual abuses comes in, they be able to address them. Capacity building is necessary for them to go through all of that. So also looking at a continuous training or capacity training through the Jdpm and other stakeholders that are present today, and in collaboration with the security organization in Oyo, so that we can have a safe environment at all times.
Hello, everybody, JP. I just want to talk about this juvenile court panel, which was organized many years ago, but recently that we have not been seeing the effective of some other members apart from those people that are working in the social ministry. Before 2003, I can say categorically that the members of the public, those that are worthwhile, were selected as members of this juvenile court panelists. And then they had been working seriously with the people in the ministry and with good results. But recently we realized that this thing is not coming again. So I just want to advocate that the government should revisit this kind of people. These are the people that are not ready to collect any money from the government. They are quite aware that it's not a government paid job, it's a volunteer job. And in that case, those people that are interested, they have to work. I'm sorry to use myself as an example. I worked there between 1996 and 2003. I did not collect a problem from the government or any politics. I used to give our clients money, those who come from a long distance, and they couldn't get to go back. So if we have people like this to help our social workers, I think the issue of family matters, which is the main issue causing all these things that are happening with our children. If we are able to track that one down, I'm sure that we will continue to have a very good society. Thank you very much.
My observation on gender violence and the necessary actions, I would like to blame the parents. Though the government fail in their responsibility, but we as parents are failing as well. We don't care about the well-being of our children, as in we don't monitor their movements, their association. Then most of the time, sexuality begins at home. Most of our behaviors are reflecting in our children, which is like the major risk of this social act in society. Take for example, the mother that is sending her precious daughter to a concubine, when Mr. Dekunle sending her daughter to Mr. Raji, you can see the kind of training we are giving that kind of a child. Definitely in the future, there's no how she won't imbibe that character. So by the time she's being abused, she won't take it serious. She will see it as a pleasure because it's what she has derived from the mother. And another thing is, probably because of the society we are, this environment, this Oyo State in particular, we try to cover out some bad behaviors. Probably because of our relations, because of the way we are living in this town. So we don't see it as a big deal. Thereby it's increasing day by day. She's posing these innocent children to a greater risk. Take for example, the child is being molested, and instead of like taking it up or encouraging the person in question to speak out, we try to bury it. Probably in our own mind that when we bury it, the person in question will not be stigmatized or she won't be ashamed. Not minding the psychological effect on the world. Because the child has been molested, is going to be isolated, probably she can be depressed and it can lead to suicide. That's why we have the high increase in suicide number these days. Secondly, say I'm a parent. I know my financial status. I know what I can afford. Imagine my daughter coming home with a phone of worth of like 100, 200k. And I know my worth, I know our own net worth as well. instead of like trying to like scold her, I overlook and I see her as a hustler. Probably she get money from hustling. Instead of querying the source of that money, as a parent, I think she's doing the right thing. Gradually, she's growing in that incessant act. So I think the parents are the major contributors to this bad behavior in the society, because we don't care, and we fail in our responsibility as a parent. Then to the couples, we need to like come together and take care of our children. The fingers are not equal. We can't scold equally. Probably the husband might be hot and the wife being cold. So while the husband is scolding, the wife should support as well. Instead of like castigating your husband or like trying to defend the children, why not support each other to train our kids to make a better society? Because we fail in our responsibility. They said evil manner corrupts good society. The children we don't take care today, tomorrow they're going to pose problem, we won't be at rest, we'll start running from one corner to another. So as a parent, I implore us to like charge of our responsibility. We should stand up, talk to our children. Everything is not about beating, shouting and ranting. You talk to your children, you instill the fear of God in them. Let them know the reality. Don't hide things from your children, and encourage them to speak out if there's problem. We should monitor their behavior. When there's strange behavior, you monitor, you talk to them, so that they can like talk to us as initially before it's escalated. So God bless us.